We've profiled the top 2 polling candidates running for U.S. Senate in Missouri, but you'll see a few more names on your ballot. Candidates like Jared Young with the newly formed Better Party, Green Party candidate Nathan Kline, and Libertarian W.C. Young. Brian Ellison and Michael Mahoney are back to discuss the state of the race. Let's start with this Better Party formed this year and who's backing this candidate, Jared Young. There's some real support from a longtime Republican senator.
Yeah, Jack Danforth, who was a 3-term senator for the state, is supporting him. Whether or not Jack Danforth, who has been out of office for more than a quarter of a century, carries any political weight, especially in the modern Republican Party, remains to be seen. But he does try at times to inject himself into it. At one point years ago, he said that he regretted supporting Josh Hawley for it. And so this is Jack Danforth's effort to try to at least give right-leaning Missourians an alternative to the top of the ticket.
Right. There's almost a tone of penitence in Jack Danforth supporting someone other than Josh Hawley, who he has since said he's very disappointed in. The reality is, I don't think Danforth's support or anyone else's is going to take the focus off of the one-on-one conflict between Republicans and Democrats. That's what voters are thinking about, and I think a third-party candidate has a very, very long shot.
Yeah, we just heard from Democrat Lucas Kunce, who's been in this race a long time, as we said, trying to go toe-to-toe with Senator Hawley. What stood out to you about his comments?
Well, I think he is positioning himself obviously as more moderate than perhaps he would have during the Democratic primary. I think that's true to who he has been even in his earlier campaigns. He is not the most liberal Democrat, and that's actually important for a Democrat who hopes to have statewide success in Missouri. Whether it's enough to move the needle, though, at the end of the day, he's still got a D behind his name. He's still going to support Democratic priorities in the U.S. Senate, and I think that is, for many voters, the deciding factor that's going to cause them to vote for Josh Hawley.
I think it's really interesting the way he approaches the immigration issue. He has, throughout the campaign, on the stump, on TV, on radio, he talks about the fact that he doesn't care who the president is. He is going to be dedicated to resolving the border crisis, and speaks frequently, and in fact identifies himself as a former military officer. And he said, again, goes back to that, I don't care who the president is, I'm going to work on the border, we're going to get it solved.
And has said that he's against amnesty for undocumented immigrants who are here in the country, which is a break from many other Democratic candidates.
Well, and that the other break with many other Democratic candidates is that Lucas Kunce has really leaned into sort of this more robust masculinity as part of his campaign, and that I think is a direct effort to attack Josh Hawley. You've seen even as recently as this week fundraising that sort of mocks the Western shirt that Josh Hawley was wearing at the state fair, that mocks Josh Hawley running away from the January 6th protests. I think the reality is that there's a calculation there that Democrats have to present a certain kind of picture to win. I just don't know that it's going to be enough.
Yeah, and the reality here is Missouri is a ruby red state, and for Mr. Kunce to have a shot at this, even though he's done a marvelous job of fundraising, over $11 million, mainly in small contributions, he's still being outspent now by the Hawley campaign and its PAC. A Missouri Democrat has to appeal across the middle to Republicans, independents, as well as Democrats.
All right, we'll leave it there. Michael Mahoney, Brian Ellison, thank you so much. Get the facts about key races and ballot issues with Heart of the Matter and KMBC 9 News. We'll gear you up for Election Day on air and online at KMBC.com.